Hello everyone, welcome to Fitness with Sahu. So in the previous episode of Strength Training Theory, I have told you that the main determiner of root strength, the ability to jump into any hard physical activity and have a high output, is muscle size. The gaining of muscle size, because you want to increase your physical activity, is called physical output, is called muscle hypertrophy, right? So when a muscle is growing bigger, what exactly is it adapting to? Is it adapting to force? Well, actually, a lot of people will tell you the bigger muscle is stronger, right? But it's not always necessarily adapting to produce a greater maximal force. Most of the time it is, but not always. If you think of it, a high jumper, for example, is producing the biggest possible amount of maximal force. Force is directly proportional to acceleration, and the high jumper needs to reach a humongous speed in a very short time to clear the highest bar possible, right? So they have to produce a lot of force, and there's only so much body weight you can lose before you start, falling apart, right? So obviously, the high jumper is actually training to produce as much force as possible. And if muscle hypertrophy was the muscle just trying to produce more force, purely more maximal force in like a split second, then high jumpers would be really muscular. They're not, right? Is it simply trying to make the muscle capable of exerting a wide amount of force for a long distance? The answer is still no, because if muscles just got bigger only to increase their endurance, to increase a moderate amount of force, like a wide amount of force, that they could move over a long distance, then that too, marathon runners would have very big muscles. They'd be jacked. They're not. Right? When a muscle is growing bigger, it's adapting to produce a greater force over a longer distance. Force times distance. And force times distance in physics is known as mechanical work. Okay? Mechanical work is also called energy. MW, or energy, is what the muscle is adapting to produce more of when it gets bigger. Right there. Now think of it a bit more. I said that hypertrophy is required to be good at any physical activity that requires a high energy output. Think of which physical activities that might mean. That might mean construction work. That might mean furniture moving. That might mean rowing a boat. That might mean any sort of manual labor. All of those are valuing the ability. That might mean wrestling even. All of them are valuing the ability to produce a large amount of force over a big distance. And is it force over distance for a single set